Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael, and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named Sugarman in the Atheism subreddit. The post is titled, "My atheist brother is having a Christian funeral. I'm not attending. My brother and I were not close in later life. He made some bad life decisions that ultimately led to his death earlier this week in his late 40s. My parents are both alive and obviously upset. I spoke to my mom. I told her that the one thing I can do for him is advocate for a non-religious funeral, as he was very non-religious and openly mocked religious beliefs. My mom claims she is Christian and that my dad was baptized Catholic, and that while she acknowledges my brother mocked religion, it is important for her that he has a Christian funeral. I got angry and started typing a response, but I remembered she has just lost her son and has taken it hard. My dad messaged me to say he is staying hands off and letting my mom celebrate my brother in her own way while he deals with his feelings privately. I just replied okay to both of them. I have not told them yet that I will not attend because the timing would be cruel, but I cannot support such a disregard for my brother's beliefs. If I am tasked with managing my mom's funeral, I shall return the favor. Edit. Thanks for the kind words, everyone. I am not looking for advice, although you are, of course, free to post your opinions. I will not be attending. It is a hill I will die on. If my parents want to grieve with me, I will meet with them privately, but I am not supporting this irrational nonsense. As I mentioned, my brother and I were not close. I would only be going to support my parents. I have no personal need to travel across the country for this. Update. I messaged my dad the same day. He said that he would grieve in his own way and would let my mom have the funeral she wants. We caught up on the phone later and I explained that I was not going to attend, but that I would drive over to support him and my mom and would come to the wake, which he understood. When I said that mom claimed he was Catholic, he laughed. I then said, "So we are going to say prayers and sing hymns for John? Ridiculous." "Oh, fuck that," he said. "That is not going to happen." He then asked me what sort of thing I would like to see. I said we could talk about how he was a good father and play some music that he would like. My dad agreed. However, I decided not to raise it with my mom as she lost her son, and while I am a bit of a dick, I am not that much of a dick. This was all a few weeks ago, and the funeral is this Friday. My mom just called me and said dad had just told her I am not attending. She said she would like me there and promised me it would not be a Christian funeral. She told me exactly what was planned, which songs, etc. She raised the issue with other family members, and apparently they laughed at her and said that about 30 of John's friends are coming and will not be interested in singing hymns. She then said she did not feel that strongly about it in the first place, which is a contradiction of what she initially told me, but she is grieving and trying to make this work, so I did not push it. I agreed to go to the funeral. Art Bear said I went to a family friend's funeral. He was Muslim and his wife was Christian. The funeral was 95% Christian because she did the arranging. At the graveside, his friend stepped up, explained that he had promised to say the appropriate prayers for his friend, and then did so very quietly while everyone silently watched. It was awkward, but I was grateful that he had shown respect for his friend's wishes. Mere Bank Guy said, "A long time ago, I used to stay near a church and there was a funeral for a man. Outside, there was fighting between the deceased's side of the family and his widow's family. It turned out he was not Christian, he was Hindu. He never converted but married a Christian woman. She had decided to have a Christian funeral for him despite his never converting or even attending church. Yes, while funerals are for the living, you need to respect the person and have a funeral the way they would have wanted." The second post was made in the AITA subreddit by a user named Renell Melly. The post is titled, "My GF and I have never had sex. It's been 5 years. Yes, I mean never. I'm a 27-year-old man and my girlfriend is 26. We have been together for almost 5 years. When the relationship started, I assumed she was being flirty and building the temptation. We were having so much fun going on dates and I was just excited for the time to come, and it still has not come. I have tried to talk to her. I have brought this up hundreds of times. Every time I gently start the conversation, she starts crying and says she feels guilty and gets angry at me for always bringing it up. At the start, she said she has vaginismus. She saw a specialist about this once because I asked her to, and she has the tools for exercises that they use to fix it. They have been sitting in her bedside drawer ever since. I am not blaming her for having vaginismus, and I'm sure that it is a horrible experience, but sitting here for 5 years waiting does not feel fair. The last time I brought it up, she said she has just never had the drive to have sex, and it is not something she has ever wanted, but it is something that I want. I have asked her to go to the doctor to get her hormone levels checked, which she did. She went off her birth control about 3 months ago, and absolutely nothing has changed. This makes it hard for me though, because it seems like she is starting to put in some kind of effort. She is beautiful and smart, and she has a good job. We live together and her family loves me. We do everything together, and I miss her when she is not around. I just do not know if I can live like this. I have already spent 5 years of my 20s in a sexless relationship. I have been hoping that she would just have some sort of awakening or breakthrough and become a sexual person. She has recently been bringing up engagements, feeling annoyed that her friends who have been together for less time than we have are getting engaged, and I have not asked her. I cannot see myself proposing and trapping myself in a life where I never have sex again. Am I the asshole for building resentment toward her and expecting her to change after all this time? What do I do? Update. It took a lot of courage, and I finally made the decision for us to go our separate ways. It was a hard conversation for both of us to have, but it ended up being very amicable. We are still living together for a couple of weeks, and I told her to just say the word if she needs some space, as I have great support with friends I can stay with before I move states for a 5-week university placement. She has her parents' house 2 minutes down the road, and she even offered to stay there, as she is empathetic to the fact that I do not have that option. She has no problem with me leaving personal, non-essential items at the house until I have a new fixed address. She will not kick me to the curb, basically. She has been very mature about how we move forward, and we have had some of the best conversations we have ever had and reminisced about all of the things that were great about each other and our relationship. Overall, we have no spiteful feelings for each other and can feel confident that we can be friends again in the future after respecting having time and space from each other. Once again, I appreciate all your comments and messages. User Adventurous Barry said, "At least they broke up, unlike that guy who traumatized himself to stop wanting sex." Turu Yal said, "I'm glad this all worked out for the best and they handled it amicably like reasonable adults. That being said, 5 years, I feel like by the time Reddit was introduced into the equation, the best we could do basically amounted to rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic." This final post was made in the relationship advice subreddit by a throwaway account. The post is titled, "My wife has given up on our child. I'm not sure how to reconcile. My family is broken and I am trying to reassemble the pieces. I need advice." For context, my wife and I are childhood sweethearts, married for around 5 years. We became parents and got married pretty young, but we have made it work. My wife is a small business owner. She turned a passion into a career, and I am really happy for her. When she started, I promised her that since my work hours were flexible, I would hold things down at home so she could focus on building her business. We were a team until we weren't. My wife is an extreme workaholic, and it has come between our family. We are not in a good place. Our daughter's caregiving is solely on me. The time my wife and daughter spend together is mostly made up of short replies or silence. Our daughter is not disrespectful. She is a good kid, but just not as comfortable with her mom. My wife and I have had a lot of talks about the state of our family, with the business well off the ground and her not needing to personally oversee everything as often. We are working on reconnecting. It has been an uphill battle. Recently, we had a bad fight. She told me she had given up on trying with our daughter. She said she is not good at it and is just going to stay in her lane. I told her she couldn't decide to clock out on our daughter during rocky times. She said she is emotionally exhausted from repeatedly striking out. She feels she cannot do anything right in our daughter's eyes. She said I have it easy, that our daughter prefers me, and even made sure her whole class knew it. The class jab was about a school assignment. Our daughter had to interview someone she admired and chose me. My wife was hurt and still feels that way about it. She accused me of not understanding. She comes home to a child she carried not respecting her. Our daughter is an expert critic when it comes to her. She went into a huge rant, and the way she talked about our daughter rubbed me the wrong way. I told her most of her complaints were not our daughter's doing. When she asked what I meant, I explained that she has not gone out of her way to connect with our daughter. She shut me down, saying she works hard for our family and that the least I could do is show up for her. I reminded her that all I do is show up for her, including holding down responsibilities we are supposed to share. We are not childless anymore. It is no longer just me and her against the world. I need to show up for our daughter too. She kept saying she has a lot on her plate and that I am supposed to be her peace. I pointed out that the only piece that seems to matter these days is hers. She sarcastically apologized for her sacrifices and said if the business is driving us apart, she would renounce it and make do. I asked if we could skip the martyr routine and actually talk. The fight escalated. I called the fight a complete waste of time, but she interpreted that as me calling her a waste of time. It was the worst fight we have had in a while. Our daughter was at her grandparents', so she did not hear any of it. We are at an impasse. Things are still tense. I don't know how to clear the air or how to reach her about our daughter. She cannot dismiss her like a disgruntled customer at work. In many ways, I feel like a single parent. I don't believe she is being honest with herself about our issues. She is a distant figure who tends to talk at our daughter instead of to her. There are many broken promises, and nothing has been mended. She does not try to engage. Our daughter loves anime, but my wife openly criticizes it in front of her. Our daughter got into K-pop, but to my wife, it is just bothersome noise around the house or in the car. Our daughter has stage fright, but joined a school play because she knows her mom loves theater. My wife promised she would come, but did not. The worst part was seeing our daughter realize she wasn't there. My wife never apologized and gave the "work was busy, I promise next time" speech. She offered to bring our daughter with her on Take Your Child to Work Day. I thought it would be good for them and a chance for our daughter to see more of what her mom does, but our daughter called me upset and wanted me to pick her up. She said her mom immediately left her with a subordinate and disappeared. When my wife checked in on her, they fought. She told our daughter that a bratty attitude would not be tolerated in her workplace. Later, my wife and I had it out. She apologized to our daughter and blamed her outburst on work frustration. She offered to bring her back another day, but our daughter refused. My wife always felt she was bad at articulating her feelings and thought she came off aggressive. That is partly why she leaves caring for our daughter to me, but this fight has made me question the nature of our relationship. I don't doubt she loves our daughter. I saw it firsthand during the pregnancy, and in private conversations, she could not stop gushing about her. I felt her love in the little things, but something changed over time. My wife is not close with her parents. She usually has me talk with them on her behalf. She believes that parents and kids do not have to be close and that since she turned out fine, so will our daughter. I am failing to help their relationship and our own. We barely have quality time. Intimacy is shot. When we are out together, we are not really together because in public she is hyper aware and puts on her business persona. I don't know what else to do. I am at a loss. I am not trying to bash my wife. I just want everyone to be okay. I am fighting for my family right now. How do I mend my wife's and daughter's relationship while also repairing my marriage? Update. Thank you to everyone who reached out. It helped a great deal. My original post was pretty much the first time I talked about any of this. I wanted to give an update. My wife and I had a serious discussion about everything. It took us a while to get there because things were still tense after our last fight and our smaller arguments in between. Our daughter noticed the rift between her mom and me and asked me about it. I'm not proud of that. I never wanted her involved in our fights. It was a significant wake-up call. I shouldn't have let it drag out. My wife asked if we could talk, and we both apologized for the fight. She was worried I was calling it quits after how bad our last fight was. She mistook us not recovering as quickly as usual and my distance as me being done. She wanted to make a gesture for our marriage. I told her that her harsh actions toward our daughter had made me question our relationship. She said she felt bad for intensely ranting about our daughter. She was overwhelmed and used the situation as a punching bag. She loves our daughter, but is at a loss as a parent. I told her we would all keep being at a loss in our current state. We are disconnected as a couple and a family. I feel like a single parent and alone in our marriage. Our current way isn't working. Her lack of presence is the common root cause. I said I didn't feel like our daughter or I actually mattered and that we were more tolerated than valued by her. That statement really upset her. She denied it and promised our family does mean something to her. She acknowledged things aren't good right now, but said she wants our family. She gets frustrated and sometimes says things she doesn't mean, but insists it doesn't reflect how she truly feels. I pointed out it's not just her words, it's her actions. Her harshness and the fact that she always chooses everything over our family while expecting us to just smile aren't fair. We're not props, and I can't enforce a relationship between her and our daughter. She shared that she struggles with contentment, always feeling the need to chase after an inner feeling she's missed. We've talked about this feeling before. It's like a high and a sense of wholeness. She thought our relationship was the answer, then our daughter, and eventually her business, but nothing completely filled that void. She admitted she doesn't know how to be with our daughter now. When our daughter was a baby, things were easier. She'd get excited when her mom came home from work, and there was unconditional love. Now, as she's gotten older, she barely seems to want to be in the same room as her mom and is more attached to me. I asked if she considered that maybe our daughter is hurting from her criticism and broken promises. My wife feels she's doing better than her parents did. She said all our daughter knows is the loving grandparents she sees on FaceTime, not what they were really like. Her own childhood was about staying in a child's place, doing what was expected, representing the family, and not showing attitude. Problems were often solved with a belt, which my wife doesn't believe in, but she still feels lost as a parent of an older child. She feels too aggressive when communicating, so she leaves caretaking to me. She doesn't feel she's good as a mother to an older child or at expressing personal feelings. She reminded me that I know what her parents were like. My in-laws ran an unforgiving household. My wife was essentially a latchkey kid. Her father was always working, and her mother was busy with community engagements. Feelings were seen as complaints, and there were high expectations for my wife. We were young when we had our daughter, me at 17, her at 19. My in-laws disapproved and offered no support. They told my wife that if she was grown enough to have a baby, she was grown enough to take on the responsibilities herself. Although my in-laws have mellowed out now, my wife is not in contact with them. She paid off their house with her business and moved on. I am still the buffer in their relationship. I'm used to being my wife's protector. It's always been our dynamic, especially during her pregnancy when others would comment or make jokes. Looking back, I think that's why I made excuses for her actions with our daughter. I told my wife that I love her, but our daughter can't be sacrificed for our relationship. We're at a crossroads and something needs to change. Counseling isn't an option anymore. It's happening for our daughter and me. I told her I want us to come through this as a family. If she refuses counseling, I'll respect her decision, but her answer will tell me what I need to do for our daughter's best interest. We would need to separate at least for now. She said if it's between counseling and losing our family, she chooses counseling. She wants to keep working on our marriage and reconnecting as a family. We're not props. I asked if this is what she truly wanted. If we do this, she can't just show up in word only and look for reasons to skip out. She said what we've built matters to her, and losing it is now more real for her. I talked with our daughter about her feelings on counseling too. I didn't want to just sign her up without her input. She was open to the idea, likely because she's close to my parents and knows they do counseling. My wife and I are now officially in counseling. We're trying a conjoint therapy approach for now. It's new for us. Before this, my wife never liked counseling, but she has been present. She hasn't flaked. There has been some improvement between my wife and our daughter. My wife has eased up on the criticism and started asking our daughter questions. Recently, we went to an amusement park as a family. They enjoyed some rides and games together, and I saw them share a laugh for the first time in a long while. Nothing's perfect. We're in the early stages. I know my wife and daughter's relationship will be a long road. How it pans out isn't up to me, but I'm here to support our daughter however she needs. I don't know what the future holds, but I want to be hopeful for my family. Maybe it's not too late. I want the best for everyone involved. Our daughter will be starting middle school soon, and I told my wife she'll need both of us. I hope this path isn't the end of our family. I want us to get through this together. When I chose a life with her, it wasn't just because we were having a baby. It was because I love her and want to be with her. I want to make this work. Thank you to everyone again. Your support is truly appreciated. Just bored too much said his wife needs intense therapy to unpack the neglect she experienced in her childhood. I hope she is able to break the cycle of trauma. Tog23 said, turning out fine and yelling at a 10-year-old for being upset that their mom ditched them at her work, a place the child does not know at all, are two very mutually exclusive things. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, Gamersupps. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.